Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a good review here for you for a hidden horror movie. I haven't done one of these in a while. This is one that I used to see on the shelves of Hollywood Video and Blockbuster rentals when I was a kid, and I never watched it. As much as I stayed in the horror section of movies, I never got to see this. It's one that the cover intrigued me. It's like that movie May. I haven't seen May before. I don't know if it's good or bad. I've heard a lot of good things. But this movie seemed interesting to me. It's a 2005 hour and 40-minute long film called Tamara. And I have it in this set with Creep, Drive-Thru, both of those I'd recommend. Boy Eats Girl. Yes, it's called Boy Eats Girl, like Boy Meets World. I love it. Not a good movie, per se. Great kills towards the end of the film. Really great montage of killing at the end of the movie with I think it was a crop duster or something, I don't know. Anyway, Tamara is the one right here with this really hot chick with an axe. So, Tamara, what do I have to tell you about this film? I thought it was way better than I ever could have thought it would be. Not so much in filmmaking. It has that low-budget, kind of straight-to-video feel from back in that day, but the budget seems like it's a little bit above that. I would bet this either went to a few select theaters when it came out, or it went to straight-to-video and was intended originally to go to the theaters, but it didn't have that look enough to make it in that by the producer's opinions or something. I don't know. I'm not really sure how this film was released or when or why, but Tamara really impressed me. It's kind of a slasher film. It's kind of a high school drama a little bit. It doesn't have that look of something like a Final Destination or an I Know What You Did Last Summer or anything like that. Basically, this is a bully film involving a little bit of, I just slurred my words so bad. A little bit of like a supernatural witch movie, if you like that kind of thing. It's kind of a revenge movie too, but kind of like in a slasher way, sort of. There's a lot of different things in here. The director has done absolutely, practically nothing, you know, which kind of surprised me. This is not horribly directed. Maybe he saw some of his flaws and decided just to kind of get out of that game, I don't know. But the writer is Jeffrey Reddick, or Riddick, however you say his name, who did things like the first Final Destination film. He's one of 3 writers that worked on that movie, which was a good film for the most part. This has a lot in it. The lead actress who plays the character Tamara is Lucy Lane on the recent Superman and Lois TV show. She was in the original Step Up movie with Channing Tatum, which I always thought she was hot then. Didn't know that was her here. She's great in this movie. She's really surprisingly great for this kind of low-budget pseudo-slasher film, proto-slasher, whatever you want to call this film. Anyway, Tamara essentially is a young nerdy girl in school. She has a crush on her teacher, and she gets bullied a lot. If you kind of love movies about kids getting revenge on their bullies, this is kind of the slasher for you. It has a little bit of that in there. But she has this crush on her teacher, and he's way too young to be a teacher. He looks like he's like maybe 23, which I guess you could be a teacher at that point. But she looks like she's in her 20s, and whatever. But she also tinkers with a book of magic that she found, I guess not by family or family heritage, just found somewhere. We never really get too many answers about that as far as I remember. She's into this magic stuff, though, and she kind of messes a little bit with some stuff in that black magic book. And eventually her bullies set her up in a situation where they tell her to come to this hotel party, and one of those bullies, kind of pretending to be a friend of hers, it has a very Carrie feel to it, by Stephen King, by the way. This bully's not as bad as the other ones, but she's still a piece of shit, basically. Tamara comes to the hotel. She's told that this teacher is going to sleep with her if she takes her clothes off, gets in her underwear or whatever, in the bedroom in the hotel next door to their room. They have cameras hidden too. They catch her undressing, they catch her getting in bed, and that teacher is never going to show up, obviously. It was a prank. And she finds out it was a prank. She starts to run out of the room crying. When they're basically putting the camera in her face, she goes to the other room to beat up the girl that tricked her, that she thought was being her friend. And in the midst of this struggle, she falls over, hits her head on a table, and dies. And these kids decide to pull an I Know What You Did Last Summer, by the way. I think it's a little bit inspired by that movie. They decide they're going to bury her body out in the woods. And when they go to do that, she comes back to life and starts killing them, trying to at least. But she doesn't just get them all in one go. This is not a Jason Voorhees film. This is a cat and mouse game. She's kind of like a cat that comes back to school the next day and kind of tinkers with her prey. When she shows up in the classroom and all of the other kids are like not even sure if they actually dreamt what happened the night before despite one of their friends dying, the looks on their faces and the looks they give each other when they see Tamara walk into the room, sit down at her usual desk, not looking like her usual self because she turns from total nerdy Raggedy Ann doll dressing to hot chick smoke show. I mean, this chick, dude, wow. She is not only great as an actress in this movie, but she is a smoke show, like I said. The way she messes with these kids and kind of changes her whole persona, we're not really sure if this is actually the Tamara from before or not, if it's the magic messing with her, if she's like possessed. We're not really sure what's going on here. But there's kind of moments in it that kind of ruin the film a little bit that I wish were not in the film. For example, if she starts to kind of doubt something about who she is, what's actually going on, especially in the third act of the film, she kind of seems to kind of deteriorate into like a zombie looking thing. When she first gets buried and resurrects herself, she looks like a zombie at first, despite being dead for like an hour. You know, it's very weird, very goofy. But the revenge mentality of this, the way she gets back at the other kids and people in her life, like her abusive, assaultive dad, if you will. Is that a word? Assaultive? I don't know. He does bad things to his daughter. He's an alcoholic. The way she gets back at these people are way too creatively done for this low-budget movie. They are so much more well done than they ever should be, and some of the writing with those things, and Tamara specifically, is better than it deserves to be. The other characters in here, the cannon fodder, the fodder, whatever you'd like to call these other characters she's going out that are bullies, that she's going to get her revenge on, whether it be knockoff Halle Berry in the film, or whether it be the other chicks like knockoff, damn, I was going to use that girl's name from Freddy vs. Jason. I can't remember her name. Anyway, the knockoffs in this film that look like other actors and actresses you know, they are not as good. The writing of them, the performances of them are not as good, but Tamara getting her revenge on them is a blast. This is oddly a very eccentrically sexual movie. It's kind of sexy sometimes in a weird way, and I don't know why. It's that low-budget sleaze nature to it, but not like in a Friday the 13th Part 5 sleazy way, in that post-Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer kind of way, in a weird way, you know? Tamara has a lot to offer. It's not bad at all. I thought it was really surprisingly good for the low ratings I saw on IMDb, and I'm not trying to set you up for a film to surprise you with that I think is a hidden gem that you might not. This movie's not going to be for everybody, but the bullying aspects, the performance from Tamara, the chick playing her, that's all really good. I mean, really good. The weird teacher guy that she has a thing for, that stuff I can't stand. You get a lot of the focus in this film on him and his wife and how they're trying to have a baby and having a hard time with that. That stuff is way too in the way for the typical teenager slasher movie this should have been. I don't hate it, but I feel like there should have been somebody else dedicated, or not even dedicated, but cast for that role of that teacher. That would have really solved a lot of the problems with this movie, in my opinion. The music is pretty good. It has this like 90s feel to it sometimes. I do like that. Tamara overall surprised me a lot. I was putting off this set of movies that I've watched through recently for months. I just had it sitting on like beside the TV on the table for probably 2 months now, just waiting to watch Tamara and get it out of the way because I wasn't sure if I'd like it or not. I put it in the TV, in my Xbox. You can't put a disc into a TV, but I put it in my Xbox, and I was so impressed with how fun this movie was a lot of the time. This is an underrated hidden gem for me, and therefore a hidden horror for me. It's not an incredible film, it's not life-changing or anything like that, but if it sounds like your kind of movie, this bullying slasher film revenge flick, you should watch it, despite its weird supernatural elements to it that I think kind of taint it a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's good. I do recommend it if you haven't seen it before. Like I said, I used to see it on the shelves all the time and I never checked it out, and it feels like one of those things I've missed my entire life, just like how I hadn't seen, God, what is it called? I cannot remember anything. Killer Clowns from the Outer Space, until I was in high school when I saw it on Netflix. I had seen it on the shelves most of my life, just never checked it out, and then I finally did, and I loved every minute of it. To this day, I still love it. Tamara, if I had to rate it on a 5-star basis, I wouldn't give this a 4 out of 5 stars, but I would give it one really close when I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. It is so close to being a 4. It has its flaws, but it's way above average for what it is, for the budget they had. I feel like Jeffrey Riddick, whatever his name is, the writer of the film that worked on Final Destination I talked about, he was probably disappointed with how the kind of budget they got for this movie, if I had to bet. But man, it's creative. It's really creative for what it is and what it's doing. I was very impressed. So check out Tamara if you haven't seen it before. If a lot of my hidden horrors recommendations have been something you've really enjoyed, dude, check it out. It's a really good time for what it is. Don't go in expecting a serious character drama. You're not going to get that. But for what I described to you, you're going to have a good time, I think, if you like my recommendations typically. Anyway, Tamara, check it out. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Let me know any recommendations for some other hidden horrors you know about that you want me to check out and review, possibly, if they're any good, if I really, really dig them, down in the comments. I'd love to hear all of that down below. I've had some recommendations, got rid of my Netflix account, so to the guy who recommended a lot of that stuff to me, like Frailty, for example, I'll try to watch at some point. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I have those things on my list, like from Shudder and stuff to watch. I just haven't gotten to them yet. I'm still working through my old backlog of a bunch of movies that are not horror that I'm trying to watch. It's where I've been for like the last 3 weeks or whatever it's been since I put up a last video. Anyway, here's a new one and a couple of other videos before it, like Saw and Legend of Hell House. So check out those videos as well. Anyway, thank you all, guys. God bless you again, and goodbye.